Hey, welcome back to another Mind the Mic podcast. I'm your host, Shubs, here with another legend of rugby league in the building, legend of the West Tigers, born in Invercargill, I believe, if Wikipedia is not lying to me.
That's true.
A place where I spent a little bit of time too. I still have my grandparents, both two of my grandparents actually still live down there. Not from there, but family moved down there. Shout out to Invers. Dene Halatau, brother. What's goody, brother? Whakalova ya too.
Hey, how are you, bro? How to? Good to be here, bro. I've good to join the podcast. I've seen some of your stuff on social media, and man, you're getting some people on there, so it's great to see. And happy to be here.
The shot, cuz. Just shooting the shot, cuzzy, and there's been a long, intention of mine for like 5 years. I've thought of it in my mind, and I've pretty much done it for ages, but I just never actually turned it into a podcast. So I've done streaming on TikTok and Instagram for ages. Like I used to have big lives on Instagram, just having conversations with all different people from around the world, and so it's always been in the plans. But to finally sit down with actually and turn them into actual proper interviews and create an RSS feed and an actual podcast. It's only recent, 3 months, but 100 episodes in like 13 weeks.
Been busy, bro.
And fortunate to be in a position to be able to just do it every day. So pretty much, enjoying it, brother. But anyway, we're not here for Shubs. We're here for Dene Halatau. For people that don't know who you are, brother, can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
I guess I was born in New Zealand, in Invercargill, as you mentioned. That is correct. I lived in a town called Wyndham, which is a pretty small town down the Southland. I think at the time there might have been about 2,000 people living in the town, so it was a small country town. But I wasn't there for long. Moved to Australia when I was 4 years old. So my old man was a rigger and a scaffolder. Moved over to Oz late 80s because there was a lot of work in Australia in the late 80s, lots of building going on. He came across a few months before us, sussed it out, got some work going, and then the family packed up and moved over to Oz, and pretty much been in Sydney ever since. I call myself a Kiwi, even though you can tell by my accent I'm very much
Kiwi,
Aussie accent. But I'm proud to call myself a Kiwi, but also proud to call Australia my home, and have spent the majority of my life here. Raised in Sydney, started playing league at a young age. My parents were into league back in New Zealand. They helped start a club down the Southland. My old man was a player when he was younger. And just when we got here, when my brother and I were old enough, we went down to the local football. Actually, it wasn't local. We went to Wentworthville, which was a little bit away from us, but they just got us registered. They wanted us to play league straight away, and we fell in love with it straight away. And I guess the shortcut version is started league at 6 years old, and then managed to play it all the way through to the age of 33. So it was a long time, very enjoyable, and very grateful that it was something that I got to do for a living for a long period of my life, and I work in rugby league now, so it's pretty much given me the life that I've got now.
No, that's awesome, brother. So, and what your old man from the Rock, is he?
Yeah. He was born in Hakupu. He moved to New Zealand when he was only a bub as well. Like he moved there when he was 2 years old.
So he's Kiwi too, then, too, eh? And,
yeah. He moved to Auckland when he was 2 years old. So tells us born in a bathtub in Niue, and then he moved to Auckland as a youngster, grew up there, then was working down Southland when he met my old lady, and he was shearing sheep down there, surprisingly. And then,
cold as the lickers.
And then that's kind of the long and short of that sort of how my parents got together. And it's weird, like we grew up here in Oz, so I've always had this like affinity with New Zealand. Like obviously, like I said before, like I'm proud to be a Kiwi, and I think a lot of the values that my parents sort of instilled in us is way more Kiwi based than Aussie based.
Well, your mum, is she from Southland, bro?
She was born in Nelson.
She's a Kiwi too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so she's a Kiwi. She's Pakeha, but she grew up in New Zealand.
That's her homeland too.
Yeah, so like I said, it's kind of been ingrained in us growing up to sort of be more Kiwi in the way that we're raised, but then obviously got the touch of Aussie by being here.
Yeah, of course.
For my whole schooling life.
What about growing up? Like, did you wake up for the All Blacks or the Kiwis games or anything like that?
Yeah, It's probably the reason why that I've felt so strongly about being a Kiwi is that when I sat down and watched Test matches with my old man, it was always the Kiwis. We always support the Kiwis, even though like obviously Origin's so big here, and you know, you become so used to like being around Aussies and who they support, and they all support the Aussies and whatever. But we always support the Kiwis, and he sort of drilled it into us to support the Kiwis. So that was just always going to be the way it was. And then naturally, the All Blacks are also in Kiwi blood as well. So we followed them. Growing up in enemy territory, which was quite fun. And through my younger years, when the Kiwis were playing the Aussies, they had some really tough losses. Like, and it was a hard,
100%.
hard thing to turn up to school the next day, and like all my Aussie mates were giving it to me about the Kiwis getting towed up or whatever. So, but stuck solid, and then full circle was like I got the opportunity to play for the Kiwis as well. So that was.
Forgot to mention that part, brother. 15 tests for the Kiwis, brother? How good?
Yeah, I mean that was awesome, and also like being a part of that team gave me more opportunity to, I guess, connect a bit further to my Kiwi roots and be around some boys. It's weird because again, growing up in Oz around a lot of Aussies and Aussie ways, and then going into camp, I felt very very comfortable and at home, and the boys made me feel that way, and it was very familiar, I guess. So it was kind of just a weird thing that's just again how it was ingrained in me.
Yeah, 100%, brother. Have you ever made the trip to Niuean at all? Or?
I haven't, no. My sister went back about 3 or 4 years ago now. Actually, would have been earlier than that because it was before COVID. But she went back with the husband at the time, and she loved it and endorsed it. But we haven't made the time to go and do it. Life gets in the way, kids get in the way, work gets busy, and you keep making excuses. But it's definitely on the bucket list.
100%, brother.
Try and save some pennies where I can just do it and get the full experience as well. So it's on,
what about
it's
your
on
old
the
boy?
cards.
It's on the cards.
He hasn't
your old
been
boy been back there? No?
No.
He cool to go back with him, bro. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be up for traveling too much, the old man. Like he's not real mobile at the moment. But
okay.
But getting back to Niue is something that, or getting over there for a start is something that definitely I want to do.
Is there a lot of Niuean players in the comp, like from when you were playing? Was there many?
Nah, Joseph Bolo, if you remember him.
Oh, yeah.
His brother Junior played for the Eels. He played for the Eels as well for Penrith. Yeah. So Seth is a good mate. I don't see him much anymore, but he travelled over to France and played over there for a while. Yeah. Played in the Super League. Played in the sort of Premier Division in France as well, and then he's back in Oz now. Lives up in Newcastle. So he and I always sort of like shoot each other messages on socials and that, and catch up when we can. Toff Sipley, he's part Niuean, so he's
that's good.
Yeah, he's doing his thing, so he's part Niuean. But Motu Tony, he's part Niuean.
He's a great Motu Tony. I'm a big Warriors fan, cuz the big Warriors fan, cuz Motu was around when we were pretty good, and now we might.
Yeah, I got to play with him, so Kiwis, doing good things for New Zealand Rugby League now as well. So, I'm sure there was a few others as well.
Yeah, cool, my man, cool. So how did you said you play with Wentworthville, was it, when you were young buck, was it?
Yeah, they Wentworthville Magpies. So they're the Western Sydney team. Pretty big club, like pretty big junior club. They got.
Were there some guns coming through when you were growing up, like through the club when you were playing for them?
I'm trying to think of like some names that have, like Chris Armott was a guy that I played with in Malala. Yeah, played for the Bulldogs, played for Parramatta as well. He progressed through to first grade. I'm racking my brain trying to think of some others that sort of had big careers. I'm sure there was actually quite a few after me that I would know. Some younger guys that played there that ended up playing first grade. But yeah, he and I, Chris. But Chris and I played together in the lower grades at Wentworthville, and then we ended up playing together at the Bulldogs as well. So we it's good. We got to play with each other as young kids, and then play first grade with each other, which was pretty
doggies, cool. Yeah. Did you make like rip slides on that when you were coming up, or how did that work for you?
No, not really. To be honest, I played a few. I played Harold Matthews for Parramatta when I was playing, because I went with the Parramatta comp. I made Harold Matthews and a few of the coaching squads, so they have like development squads, but the development squads have like over 100 kids in them sometimes, and I was a part of that. but I never made like New South Wales schoolboys or Aussie schoolboys or anything like that. I played some like regional teams, but never really. I was never like a superstar or anything as a kid. I just loved playing. It was good enough to make my team starting side, like my club starting side.
Yeah,
and that was it. That was good enough for me at the time.
Yeah, solid too. When does the transition happen? Like to like, bro, like I can actually give this a crack. Like when is it? When be all the realization, like, like I'm pretty good at this. Like the bro's like make a bit of a career here. When does that happen?
I guess like I did go to, so out of my junior side, I got invited to go trial at Westfield Sports High, which is
yes,
that's a breeding ground for some rugby league
players. Some weapons there, then eh?
Yeah. So they asked me to trial. I went for trial. They then invited me to go to the school to sort of get a bit more serious about rugby league, get some specialist coaching and whatnot. And so I did that, and that was in year 10. So I was like 16 at the time. And then that's when the junior rep started, Harold Matthews at Parramatta. But then while I was still at Westfields, I got cut from Parramatta, didn't make the SG ball side the following year after Matthews. So I was a bit disheartened, like, I'm at a school where I'm trying to be a football player, but then I can't make the rep side, not even the training squad for SG ball.
What position are you playing back then, brother? Back in those same ones?
I was playing fullback.
We got the wheels, cuz, fullback.
I don't know if the wheels were that good, but I was just doing enough to survive as a fullback. And then
the fullback.
And then I think it was in my first year of being able to play SG ball when they cut me. I got a call from Gary Freeman, so the great halfback from New Zealand, Gary Freeman.
The Tiger.
Yeah, the Tiger. He gave me a call because I'd met him and been in like some like academy squads when he was coaching, and he'd ended up. He must have found out that I got cut from Parramatta, and then he asked if I wanted to go to Balmain SG ball, have a trial there, and see if I could make it there. And that was essentially it. I went to Balmain. He got me a start. Then he ended up coaching the side, and after he coached the side, I just stayed there. Played through SG ball 2 seasons. Played Jersey Flegg in those same years as well, which was under 20s over here at the time. I was just getting opportunities to play. Play upgrade. So I was at 16 or 17 playing in 20s, and then the same the following year. And I just stayed and just worked my way through the grades. Finished school, started uni, and football was going good. Like I wasn't a superstar, but I was making the rep side, as in the Jersey Flegg side at Balmain. And then I thought if I keep at it, then I'm happy to study, work a little bit, play footy on the weekends and play at that level, and whatever happens. And then all of a sudden 1 year got pushed up into reserve grade, and then got pushed up from reserve grade into the first grade training squad. And within 2 weeks, there was a few injuries. I got to play first grade. It happened really quick, man. Like it was
like 03, is it? 03?
03, yeah. So at the time I was 20, again, playing lower grades, just doing my thing, and then had a couple of good games. And the head coach, Tim Sheens at the time, just called me up, said, come start training with us. 2 weeks later, I'm playing first grade. So it was like, it was like perseverance, man. Just like I wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a gun. It was just like I was happy playing. I was training hard. I was just doing what I was asked to do, and then strung some good games together and got the opportunity.
No, that's beautiful, brother. But if you weren't prepared, when that opportunity came, who knows if you play nearly 250 games in the NRL, brother.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
It's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. That year was because Benji debuted that year still in high school, was it as well? Was it? Did you?
Yeah, he came down from Cuba. Yeah. I played with him in his debut.
True.
Yeah. So there was like Benji, Robbie Farah debuted the same. Actually, Robbie Farah and I debuted the same game. We played our first game.
Yeah.
Liam Fulton, Bryce Gibbs, bunch of young guys from the area. Bronson Harrison as well.
The Bronson Harrison, Māori boy.
Yeah.
Oh, Bronson.
Yeah. So Benji, I remember Benji coming down. Like we had a few injuries. The season was getting away from us. We were like sort of a chance of making the 8, but we weren't playing so great. And then Sheensy being Sheensy just thought, I've got this kid up here. He's a gun. He's got big raps. He's making Aussie schoolboys, and he's got a reputation. And the club, I think the club had already committed to signing him for a few years or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, he comes down from school for a week, trains with us, gets a game, and as soon as he steps on the field, everyone's just like wowed by what he can do. And he was a school kid at the time, only 17, 18 years old. And he's just magic, man, what he could do. And he freaked us out of training too, because he's come down, he was super confident, and just all the sort of tricks that he had, he'd do them all at training at first, because he backed himself, he was confident. And it was just awesome to see him get out in the field and actually do that at such a young age as a school kid.
Yeah, 100%. In a way, I know you're different ages, like you're 20 or whatever, but in a way, you boys sort of came up together, grew up together in a little way, as professionals anyway. Hey,
we used to hang out
in the same year and shit.
Yeah, we were pretty tight. Like those early years of playing first grade, we, like I said, the guys that I all mentioned, particularly Robbie, Bronson, and Benji, we're all living, like, well, we weren't living close together, but we used to hang out heaps after, like, training, after games, days off. It was just like we'd just go find something to do. We're young, playing first grade, and it was awesome to be sharing that experience with each other, like understanding what it was to be a first grade footballer, but also enjoying the benefits of being a first grade footballer, I guess, is like, you get downtime. It's hard, like, don't get me wrong, it's hard and it's pretty full on, but you get downtime when everyone else doesn't have downtime. And the people you hang out with are the people you play with every week. So we just got really tight. And also, as young men, like, you're going out whenever you can, having a good time, partying.
The boys.
You're starting to experience life, sort of thing, as well together. So that was pretty fun, man. Benji was awesome. Sort of, you see him now, like, he's got that confidence now, and he backs himself, and he's very committed by what he's like. He's a very self-assured guy, and he's been that way since the start. Like,
always.
And it wasn't cockiness either. Like, he just knew what he could do, and he's quite intelligent. Like, he's a smart guy, so he backed himself, and it's good to see him taking control of the team now and being the head coach. And I've got no doubt he's going to be successful just because of the character that he is.
Yeah, that's exactly. I spoke to Scotty Settler last week, and he said exactly the same thing. I know he got to play a year with you guys, 04, but he said, he said exactly the same, brother. That Benji's like, if Benji wanted to, he could go to university and, like, be some kind of thing. He's so smart, you know what I
mean? He's intelligent and he's super competitive. He just wants to win everything, right? And I remember, actually, like, those days of hanging out, we went bowling, we went 10-pin bowling one day off or something.
Yeah.
And it must have been like one of his first times doing it. Like, he was awful. Like, he bowled at 50 or whatever, 50.
Oh, yeah. Oh, true. Not the 50. How many frames?
But, within a couple of weeks, we go back for another session, and he's obviously gone and worked on it himself. And he's bowling up around 200. Like, and this guy, anything he picked up, he became good at pretty quickly. So that's just him. That's his style. You know those guys, the ones you hate, your mates that just are good at everything.
Yeah. To be honest, I was that guy. I used to be that guy. But then you get hated on by, like, people that. But I was like, but I think it's. You said something about that competitive edge. Like, I'm not fucking Benji or anything, but just whatever I try to do, bro. Like, just try to, like, or if I'm shit at it, I'll be like, oh, and everybody else is gonna fuck. I'm just like, I'll obsess over it until I get good. Like,
that's good, man.
But just like, yeah. But then you get in fucking, I don't know, some people get jealous, bro, but whatever, who cares?
Those who can't get jealous, right?
Yeah, haters out. You said another cool name there too, brother, Robbie Farah, because probably some people don't realize, like, if there wasn't a guy named Cameron Smith, he might have been the best hooker in the comp, or, like, considered, but he's pretty deadly, Robbie. Hey.
Yeah, he's a skillful guy. He's very similar guy, like, very naturally talented and gifted guy. Again, smart dude. I think he got, like, in Sydney or in Oz, it used to be UO. Anyway, whatever he finished with that school, the certificate was like 94 or 95 he got for his final certificate mark for school. He went off and did an economics degree, Robbie. So he's a pretty intelligent guy, but he's also very skillful, good cricketer, good tennis player. Obviously a really skillful hooker. And you're right, during his time, he's up against a guy like Cameron Smith, who becomes arguably our greatest player ever. Definitely in terms of numbers and that. But
numbers for sure.
Yeah, but tough competition for Robbie to be in the same era as. But he can hold his head up.
Was the man.
Yeah. One of the best nines for New South Wales alongside like Badiris and man, like, and the argument is Robbie or Benji is the greatest ever Tiger. Those two.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's actually a debate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's right.
It's an actual debate, bro.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. Another good dude.
Dene Halatau just behind. Nah. Solid, brother. But you seen some, like, was he pretty, like you said, skillful? There's some things at training, or what made Robbie so good, brother? Like,
he, like, again, very competitive guy, hated losing, like he despised losing. But he was a hard worker. Like, that was probably his best brand. Yes, he had the skill, but he worked on his game so much, and he was extremely fit. So I haven't seen many players that I've played with that trained as hard as him or at that high level.
Ooh.
And he liked to push himself to the point of, like, he wanted to break himself often. Like, that was kind of his thing. Like, he'd do something every week. He'd do something really uncomfortable, take him outside his comfort zone. And he worked extremely hard on his, like, physical fitness and that, which is a common thing you find with a lot of hookers like him. Those guys that just have really big engines and work hard and just keep on top of their physical fitness as a priority. And then, the rest of the stuff, you work hard, the rest of the stuff falls into place. So yeah, he's a hard worker, man. That was his, probably the thing I admired most about him.
Yeah. Did you learn anything out of those two boys, Benji and Robbie? Is there anything you took from them that, like, made you a better player?
Well, I guess I learned to react to them really well. That was probably one thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One thing as a player, when you're playing in a team sport, you got to understand what your teammates are able to do. Like, and sometimes it's hard with someone as unpredictable as Benji to sort of know what the next move is going to be, right? But you have to be ready to react. And if you sit back and wait for things to happen with those two guys, you're going to miss an opportunity. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I learned from the pair of them, was that, like, look for their signals, look for their body language, and stay moving, stay up on the ball, because something might happen. And if you're there, you'll take advantage of it. And, Robbie and Benji put me over for, I didn't get a lot of tries, but they put me over for a good number of my tries. Because just because of the skill that they had at creating things for the guys around them. And then, just the work ethic from Robbie, like, that's something that when you're around guys that work hard, it makes you want to work hard. So if I tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey man, if you're doing extras, like, drag me along with you," I was nowhere near as fit as Robbie, and I couldn't keep up with him often, but I knew that if I did train with him, that I was going to get plenty out of it.
The old iron sharpens iron.
100%, bro, 100%. So there was another guy, Mark O'Neill, who we played with earlier.
Oh yeah, Mark O'Neill. Yeah.
He was our captain.
He's a magpie, that fella.
He's a tiger. He's a tiger.
It's tiger. Sorry, tiger.
Yeah. But he sort of said to us, he goes, "You embarrass yourself at training, so you won't embarrass yourself on game day." Like, that was one of the things. So, like, you hurt yourself fatigue wise, take yourself to a dark place at training where you're almost going to quit. It can be that hard, but that's where you sort of hone your skills or hone your fitness, and then come game day, you don't let yourself down and you don't let your teammates down. And I think that was a big part of Robbie's preparation, is definitely to do that.
Yeah. Was he captain on the GF, brother?
No, Scotty Prince was our captain. So Mark,
Scotty.
Mark got injured in the lead up to this final series, and when he was injured, Scotty Prince got made captain by Sheensy, and then just kind of because we had the roll on, I guess Sheensy made a decision to leave Princey as captain. But obviously, like, Mark O'Neill meant a lot to us, so we still held him up in that same sort of space.
Echelon.
He's kind of like the unofficial skipper next to the skipper kind of thing. So,
yeah.
That was
because I remember him being, I was only bloody like 13 at the time, I think it was when it was happening. So I'm just going from fucking the memory bank, and Benji, and like, it was just cool seeing someone, because I come from Whakatane too, brother. So seeing someone like Benji Yeah, whakatānei, as Bo will say. No, but like,
You a touch player yourself, right?
Oh, a little bit, brother. Yeah. Touched the wrong things when I got older, and yeah, no. Yeah, no good now. No, but everyone does, brother. Like back home, just that's the go. Like we all think, like even before Benji, like we used to think we were. I don't know if you remember Orini Ai. Like we used to think you were him or even Remus. Talking about
Remus,
touch.
Yeah,
brother. Like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but it was cool just seeing Benji like someone from where you come from. You know what I mean? Like being a kid. But what was that year like? Because before that, you weren't too good, eh? Because there's a couple of years before.
We didn't make the finals in any of my first 2 years of football. So, and before that, they didn't make the finals. Yeah, since they became with the West Tigers. West and Balmain had some lean years in the 90s, like late 90s. That was pretty awful, right? But yeah, that year was pretty good. We had a really big off season. Obviously, every team have big off seasons, but we prepped really well through the off season. We set some standards and behaviors that we wanted to stick to, and we held ourselves and each other accountable. That was probably the biggest thing that I took away from that year, was how accountable we were to each other.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before about Robbie's extras. Well, like we as a group started doing extras and writing it on a whiteboard. So we had a whiteboard of training, and it had all of our names listed along the left-hand side, and then all the days of the week. And then you just go up there and fill in for the week, whatever extra work you did. It didn't have to be like the fitness stuff. It could have been, I did 100 passes left to right, right to left, or whatever it was,
Oh, true.
But you
wrote it all down. There's that's on top of your actual training.
Yeah. So, when you go if you're on a Wednesday or Thursday and you look and the board's full and you're not putting anything against your name, you want to be doing something extra. And the board was full most weeks, which meant that everyone was doing something to make each other better, make a team better, make each other better. And that was probably one of the keys to the success that year, is that every single one of those people in that team, that squad, was doing something to make themselves better. And that, every 1% that was across individually, it just skyrocketed for the whole team, right? So, it was a really important part of that year. And then off the back of that,
who started that whole, like, let's write it on the whiteboard?
I think, look, to be honest, I think Sheensy was like, he might have like just said, let's do this on the board or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, as in, let's establish a board. But everyone was like doing the extras anyway. Like everyone had sort of got into a habit of doing it. So he just, I guess, formalized it and put it up as a thing that it's really hard though, because sometimes when you do extras, you don't want to do it just to be seen to be doing extras, and you don't want to, like, it can be a bit not showy, but like you just want to go off and do it by yourself, so when yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to do it just because you feel like you have to, but it just become a habit that everyone wanted to, and so I'd say it was Sheensy and probably actually our trainer at the time, Cherry Mesha, who used to play for West. He's a Western Suburbs player who has a lot of respect amongst Western Suburbs and West Tigers people. He became our head conditioner that year, and he was a fantastic trainer. I think he probably doesn't get enough credit for getting us into the type of physical shape that we were in that year, that gave us basically our style of play. We were fast. We weren't big, but we had a fast team, and we moved the ball around a lot. And we were really
hard.
And we were really
too, brother.
Yeah, and I think he was a big factor for that.
No, it was solid too. You go into the, like you said, first 2 years not too good. Then next minute all these extras and putting them on the whiteboard, accountability. Yeah. When do you go through the season and you think, fuck, we are shot here? Like when does that pop in your mind? Like, like we can actually do this. Or was it not to use one? Like
there's definitely the feeling like we could do it like at different stages along the year. And I think Ben Galea, another former player,
Benny Galea,
senior player at the time, Benny Galea,
was he a magpie?
No, he was a Tiger as well, bro. But
he was also a Tiger. Who was a magpie out of your fellas thing?
John Scandalis would be the one.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of now, brother. When you said, yes, Johnny Scandalis. Sorry, but I knew one of the players were.
Scando's the mayor of Campbelltown. He's Western Suburbs for through. So, but Benny Galea, we were doing like our goal setting as a team, and I think one of the goals we looked at was let's finish top 8 because we hadn't finished top 8 as a team ever. And then, Benny Galea said, "No, fuck that. Let's finish top 4. Why don't we set that as our goal? Like, why do we set up the top 8?" And the way I think it's gone, majority of the time, top 4 teams are the only teams that win the GF. Not many teams outside the top 4 win it, right?
Has anyone ever, brother? Outside?
Bulldogs in 95, I think they won it outside the 8. I think they were 7th, or maybe even they finished 8th. I can't remember. But and there's another one in between. I can't remember who it is. But anyway, Benny set that goal. And because he set that goal, again, accountability, you go, well, we're not going to be happy with just 8th. So we've got to start racking up the wins. And then, we went on a run of 8 games in a row from like round, it must have been like round 12 to round 20 or something like that, or maybe round 14 to round 22. We went 8 games in a row. And I reckon 3 games into that run, or after the 3rd game, we've just got boys like, we've got a squad here. We're playing some good football. We didn't feel like we could lose any game during that run. We're just like, as bad as we were playing at any point, we'd still find a way to win, So that was kind of where the belief started to build. Yeah. And then the last 2 games before the finals, we got touched up. we got smashed by Melbourne down in Melbourne, and then Penrith at Homebush. Funny story about the Melbourne game. Yeah, we got down there, we got touched up, and then the coaches and that weren't too happy with the way we played, and we're getting close to the finals, and we knew we were going to be in the finals because we'd already sort of put ourselves in the top 4, and we didn't look like we were going to miss the top 4. But they said, no going out tonight, boys. We lost the game, not good enough. We've got to get ready for the finals. They're coming up, blah, blah, blah. But a couple of boys, I won't name names, but more than a few boys.
Hell no, we don't snitch around there, cuz. Couple of the boys.
A few boys sort of snuck out the side door at the hotel, and then and they went out. But one of the guys we had working for us at the club at the time, he was a bit of a 2-striper. He was a bit of a snitch. And
gee.
he was only doing the boss's work, right? So he found out who it was, but it didn't matter. We got back on the bus to go to the airport, and there was a few boys that were a little bit bleary-eyed, and it was pretty obvious. And when we got back to Sydney, we were on the bus to go back to Concord, where our training base was. All our cars were parked there. Yeah. And our trainer got up and he goes, the coach got up and gave us a dressing down about the boys going out. And he goes, so as a result, when we get back to Concord, this is the day after the game, he goes, we get back to Concord, we're going to get out, get your training gear on, we're doing a session. And so we got back to Concord, and our trainer, he got up and just flogged us for like an hour or so on the cardio machines for the boys stepping out of line. So, man, day after the game, that's it, man. That's it. So, and it's funny because the trainer, this is Cherry Mesher, he was like, he felt so bad. He's like, sorry, boys, but the machine. And, we were hating on the boys that went out.
Yeah. Because it wasn't Dean, brother. It wasn't me. Boys, bro, could have laughed away, but I'm a giggle.
Yeah, that was funny, bro. It was funny.
And then, so was that? And then Penrith, you said they doshed it up to you because I can't remember. I remember he's giving it to the Bulldogs. Was that first week or the final, or was it the Cowboys?
No, we gave it to the Cowboys week 1.
Cowboys, so that's right.
The Panthers, we took them on at home, which I'm sure they were the last game. It was either, I might have the games the wrong way around, but the Panthers, we were in front by like 18 points. They come back and beat us like 36 to 18. Or something like that.
But you had your thing locked in, Like we
we were in the finals already. I think we maybe a chance of missing the top 4, but we finished in 4th. Okay. We finished in 4th. So we got in the top 4. We achieved that goal, and then we played the Cowboys round 1 of the finals. We touched them up by like 50 points to 12 or something like that. Brett Hodgson broke a finals point scoring record. Man, it was a great performance. We played so well, and that kind of set us up for the finals. Our confidence was up here.
That's right. And then who did you play after that? Was it?
We didn't play the Bulldogs in those finals. We went Cowboys.
When was that game? I don't know. I just remember Benji just sassing up and then gassing has him one time, but I can't remember.
Man,
Up the hasm.
You could say all 15 teams that Benji gassed up over something.
Actually, straight up, pal.
only ones that don't feature the Dolphins because they're too new. But
yeah, that's it, fella.
yeah, no, we played the Broncos week 2, and the Broncos were a mean team. Like they had all Aussie reps in their side. They were big. They were physical, and we played them at the Sydney Football Stadium, and we just had a really good plan against them. I think like we executed.
Oh, that was the old system too, brother? McIntyre.
Yeah, McIntyre. That's
right.
it.
Yeah.
I can't remember how it works, but yeah, it was.
Yeah. But you would have played fucking first, otherwise, You would have played top of the table in the first week of the finals, otherwise. Yeah, that's right.
So we took on the Broncos, and then Benji came up with a big play in that game. Actually, he got a length of the field try off like an intercept or a loose ball or something like that, and then he also held up Darren Smith over the try line. So Darren Smith looked like he was going to score, and then Benji's like scooped in underneath him and held him up only like a few centimeters short of the line. So he had
put his big fucker down there, bullets underneath the area. Hell no, cuss.
Man, he had a wicked final series, Benji. But we went to the back at the football stadium the next week. We played against the Dragons. That was a mean game. That was like a highlight of my career. Got a couple of tries. Benji scored the first try, just carved them up off a scrum. And then I think I got the next one. And then, we got out to a good lead. They came back in the second half. But that atmosphere for that was the prelim. That was all the qualifier for the grand final. The atmosphere in that game was the best, one of the best I've ever been in. It was like packed stadium, 46,000 odd people there. There was a bit of news through the week that because the Dragons had the week off before that, they skipped through to week 3, the one before the GF. All their fans had snapped up the majority of the tickets early. So this is the way the story goes. And then our fans got the scraps. But we went out there, man.
So
it was
heavy.
Yeah. And we sort of we expected that, but when we went out there, the cheer for us was enormous. Like, so whoever was there that was a Tigers fan, they
were louder,
they were heaps louder. They outscreamed the Dragons fans, and then Dragons were heavily favoured, and we go on and beat them pretty comfortably. Play unreal, and I just got visions of Dragons fans crying, and we were
suck on that out.
I still get Dragons fans now talking about that to me. They go, "Oh man, 05, you just up, you scored a couple of tries, blah blah blah." Sorry, man.
It's all good. He's got a chip 5 years later. Us Warriors still waiting for one. If you leave this year, cuz up to us.
There's so much to like about them at the moment, the way they play. Do you watch the game last week, man? I
watched them all because I watch it on stream. Me and the boys watch it on stream. Yeah,
man. They were good last week. They were really good.
Hard. And I think it's building to that. Like, and think about it too, from just my couch potato opinion. We should have won that Melbourne game, and we probably should have won that Sharks game. So, like, as you know, grand final winner yourself, you probably don't want to come out the gates just blasting everyone. So you want to build.
It's a long year. I do actually. Funny, I played with their coach Andrew Webster. He was a Tigers.
Oh,
junior.
True.
Yeah, so he played. He played in those teams I was telling you about, the Jersey Flag
back
teams.
in the days.
Coming up those teams. So
was he cool dude back in the days? Like,
he's a good dude, man. He's pretty laid back. His brother James played for the Tigers. He was a coach as well overseas. So they're a footballing family. So good dude, really good dude.
Yeah. I was talking to Elijah Taylor, and he was saying that he was assistant when he was at the Tigers, and he was just proud of him for getting his shot because he's like, bro, he's a good dude, exactly what he said, and he deserves his shot, brother. And obviously, done his apprenticeship under Ivan.
He's doing good things, man.
And cool that him and the club were committed for like a long time too. Like, the Warriors had how many coaches over the years? Like the most they are, like in the 30 years they've been around, I think they've had like nearly fucking double everyone else. That's part of the problem too, eh? They're just fucking out with the next one, and ownership, so many different owners.
Now when you get stability, it helps so much in a club. Like when the back office stays like consistent, when your coach is there and has a good system and people believe in it, stays there consistently, then it helps so much on the field. Hopefully they're going through that period now, like you said. It's only around the corner.
Well, hopefully, my brother. Hopefully, and the Tigers too, cause they're on the way. They're on the way. You know, for like a couple of years.
They shut a few people up their second game, so that was good.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about that whole when they're moaning about Benji fucking doing his family for 3 hours a day? What's that bullshit?
Well, you know, like one thing, and I'll be honest, man. Like,
yeah,
most of the coaches I've had, one of the observations I've had with them is that they are all obsessed with the game, and to like the detriment of their family life. So often, like they just it becomes all about the team and about coaching and about performances, and they're just obsessed. They turn up at 5 a.m. at training and they leave at 8 o'clock at night. Like, you know, people work those hours in all sorts of jobs, but they're the ones that work the hardest, and they're completely obsessed, and it's all about that. So I've seen that, and I've seen it be successful, and there's an intensity about those guys as well. But at the same time, man, like you get more out of people when they're balanced and they're happy, right? When they,
I think so.
Yeah, 100%. Like in any role and in any workplace, this is my view anyway. But you know, when people are happy, you get so much more out of them performance-wise. And Benji, like I said before, is a smart, intelligent guy who knows rugby league. And if you want to get the most out of Benji, then he needs to be happy as well as his players. And if happiness for him is like balance with his family life, making sure that his wife and his kids are in a good place as well, then like that's got to work for him, right? Yeah. And man, I think Ivan Cleary is a good example of like he's a guy that from what I understand of him, loves the beers, right? Loves a good time. Yeah. He is there for his family. Like, how many times did you see Ivan sideline when Nathan was playing Origin? You know, like I'm sure the Panthers had games they had to get ready for those weekends where
in the Bros there. You know,
Perth, Adelaide, wherever the games were, but Ivan's there with the whole family. And they're all supporting him. All of Nathan's mates that he played with as juniors that ended up playing first grade with the Panthers. It seems like they all treat Ivan as like their second father sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
actually. Even people like Ice who wasn't, you know, like didn't reach the echelons as a player, but obviously off the field's done awesome. Like he speaks of Ivan like, you know, like fucking the man. You know what I mean? Like he'd done a lot for him as a human being.
Yeah, so there's a guy that by appearances has pretty good balance in his life and is not completely obsessed with just rugby league. And he's won 3 premierships in a row and been in a grand final before that run. So
been like, a 4 grand finals straight there. It'll be fucking 5 the way I know they lost on the weekend, but he's still bad.
I guess the short answer is the beat up from the media was all shit. Like,
that's it. So something to talk about, being in Sydney, cause like in being a player who's, I know you weren't the most superstar player, but you know you around these fellas, and you know test player yourself. You win, you know you win shit, cause I mean, to make the NRL, you're not shit. You know what I mean? Like to make the NRL, you gotta be good. You know, let's be honest. You would have experienced a bit of stuff being like, I don't know. It seems like for me, just as an outsider looking in, no media in the world destroys itself like the NRL media, cause like that's what I honestly believe. Like the AFL, I'm in the AFL state, Perth, brother. Like, bro, like they look after their players. Like the worst thing they got is like being cousins, and like they still put like think he's a legend, which is I think he is. Like even this whole Jinko thing, brother. What's the thoughts on that?
I think the media, like the media, obviously they've all got agendas. That's the thing, right? Like. Media do the work for the agents often, I believe. Like they have agents that try and that lean on them. Like you give me, and I've got quite a few friends that are in media. I actually do radio over here in Sydney for ABC.
You're in media, in a way, brother. We alternative media on right here.
I cover games, and in that, like sort of in my career and now post footy career, like I've met a lot of journos, and I've become friends with quite a few journos, right? So I get what they do, and I understand that you know they need to sell stories, and stories needs information. Information comes from doing favors for people, and sometimes sometimes their stories are a little bit skewiff because they're trying to do the work for someone else. You know what I mean? And that might be an agent or a football club or a CEO or whoever. But it's kind of the currency in which they deal with people is like, you give me information, and I'll put stories out there that sort of can help your cause or can help your player or can, paint this in a certain way. It's the way it works, man, over here, at least anyway. I guess Sydney's just a bit of a bubble. It's been such a rugby league hub for so long. But I don't know why the differences are there that exist between AFL media, because I've heard that before, but I don't get too much into AFL media. I don't sport, I don't read it, but I have heard that they're a little bit more protective of the game and of the players.
Yeah, I see. I feel like that anyway.
Yeah, but maybe it's just the way that they feel they need to get the attention and the numbers and all that sort of stuff by being negative.
But I mean, that's part of it too, though. You're right, brother. Like, as soon as a fight breaks out, brother, like if there was a fight behind you and behind me, we probably stopped recording it.
Tension goes, that's it.
That's where the tension goes. I understand that.
That's more of a human nature thing. You're right. That's
for sure, brother. So, and what you're saying there too, maybe possibly the stuff that the agents are saying because they want something to happen in a certain club, maybe it's not even true. Like, you know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that the whoever the media personality or journalist is, maybe they're not even trying to talk bullshit, but it's just, you know what I mean? They're getting fed fucking whatever. And like you said, if they want to do.
Man, I know. Again, a lot of the journos I know, I've seen them pump out some stories that have been smashed pretty quickly, as in like they're wrong and they've been a bit embarrassed by it. And I've asked them, I said, man, how did you run with that? They go, well, I got convincing piece of information from someone. They said 100% this is happening, and then it doesn't happen, right? Or it's like, it was way off. Then, what do? They've been fed false information.
Because that's the thing, they're going. It's always going to be second hand from them. You know what I mean? Because they're just retelling the story that they've been told. So I guess at the same time as it's like it's shit to see. There's obviously, if you glass half full, you look back and you go, you understand why it happens, but then and also how it could happen. So that's good perspective, brother, on that too. Because like I think a lot of boys, especially ones that aren't in the media, would be able to just be, fuck them sort of thing. But like the fact that you like, well, like I work for some of them, and not really bad people, some of them, just
wrong. I still read stories and I think they're shit, and I don't like what a lot of journalists will write some stuff that I just think are like negative unnecessarily. I hate stuff that gets too personal, like just That's
dodgy, brother. Like just keep it to the football, cuz like you know what I mean. Like,
or there's just sometimes little regard for players at all.
Did you ever get any in your career, or were you pretty?
I was pretty low key, man. I didn't like you said before. Like I got to play first grade at a decent level and played rep and all that, but I just stayed in my lane and didn't have to say
anyway.
Also, man, that's just the way it was.
That's it, brother. So what's it like lifting the old trophy, cuz? And obviously you probably think, fuck this, how good is this? 2 years in, baby, we fucking lifting the trophy. We might do this every year.
Yeah, that's the point. We thought we like I was 22 at the time. The boys, like Benji was 20, Robbie was 21. Like we were just like, man, we're just young. 2-3 years in, like for the group of us, we've won a premiership. Like it was awesome, man. Like it was surreal. Like it was almost not real. And it was a long month after that.
On the plus or what? What did you up to?
Well, actually, we had Benji and I both had surgery a week and a bit after the GF. So both had shoulder surgery, and we went one after the other, same surgeon. So we were in the recovery together, holding each other's hands.
Oh, literally. Bang, bang.
But we had that week after was just nonstop. Like it was like any opportunity we were awake, we were on it.
The boys.
I pulled up pretty quickly after the surgery because I was like pretty sore from it. Benji rolled the shoulder over after surgery and picked a beer up pretty quickly. So he was he soldiered on pretty quickly, Benji.
The Maldives, there's Maldives, cuz there drink for days.
No, it is too. I figured it out with him like pretty early on. So whenever we get together for a drink, Benji would lead the drinking games because you Maldives know how to do drinking games, right? And,
100 cuss.
He was always running the drinking games, and everyone was getting loose around him and losing it. And
the tricks there, you didn't run smash
the whole way through. Like he was because he was the one in control. So
that is smart, brother. But even the bro, people probably forget too. The bro had quite a few shoulders. Like imagine if he didn't have all those bloody injuries too.
Yeah, man, he had a tough run, man, and like, I don't know if you remember, there was one game up in North Queensland where he'd done his shoulder.
Yes.
There's some footage of the change rooms. He was with the doctor and the cameras went to the change rooms, and man, he was like inconsolable, right? He was sitting on the chair and he had his head in his lap and he was upset, obviously. But he had to overcome some pretty awful injuries, early on for a guy. I guess that shows his resilience, and again, his competitiveness. He got back on the field, he worked hard, and he became, again, one of the best players in the game pretty quickly. Yeah. And then to have a long career too, like he didn't retire till a couple of years ago. And
yeah, literally. Could have nearly got another GF with the boys, a chip with the boys, the bunnies.
But to have those injuries early on, usually the shoulders start to show some arthritis, and those injuries catch up at some point. But he just looked after himself really well. I think he got better at that as he got older, just like rehabbing. Looking after the body a bit better, getting a bit smarter with how he was. But yeah, he definitely made them. He was probably MVP for the post grand final celebrations, I'd say.
MVP. He got the Clive Churchill in the post celebrations. Well, you just spoke about rehab there, because how did you go through your career? Were you did you look out were you pretty good at rehab and all that stuff, or
I probably to be honest, I did have a few injuries. I had that surgery that I just mentioned then with my shoulder. I was out for 6-7 months after that, so it was a pretty long layoff. Benji got back on the field before I did, and I had to deal with that. Was my 3rd year, so I had to deal with that for the next 10 years. That shoulder not being the same that it was, and I got away with it. I probably should have done more in terms of rehab when I was early days, but I was young. I reckon I did cut a few corners with it, but as I got older, I got a few more knee injuries. I had 6 medial tears in my right knee. I had to have surgery on that twice. I snapped my left ankle, had surgery on that, dislocated and snapped that. Then I had some cartilage clean out. Every player's had cartilage clean outs and other little injuries, but the knee surgeries were pretty hard to come back from. After the second one, I nearly gave it away early. I was like, man, my knee just snaps as soon as it gets contacted, sort of thing. It was happening that easy. But the surgeons fixed it up, as in made it strong enough to play. And I managed to get another, after that surgery, I got another 3 years out, I think, after that. So, that rehab and recovery was a lot more focused, I guess, when I had those surgeries on my knee, because you need your legs to run, obviously, and you need that confidence. And I wasn't much of a stepper. Actually, I wasn't a stepper at all. But
did I learn a thing or two from Benji, cuz?
he always poked fun at my step. If I made like a little half break off the step, he'd slow it down and freeze frame it, try and find where I
give me something, cuz. Give me something.
But I had to get the confidence back on the knee, and then it lasted me till I retired. And touch wood, I've got a few little niggles now that I still train a bit. I still play a little bit of Oztag and all that, but it doesn't. I don't move as free as I did when I was younger. But
it happens though, eh?
That's life.
Hard, brother. What about knees over toes and stuff like that? You do any of that stuff?
Like the Chero stuff, Anthony Cherrington sort of stuff, Troy stuff. To be honest, man, I'm pretty lax with that stuff. I go to a group training gym near me that they rip in, they train hard. It's all group stuff, but I don't do a lot of recovery and prehab and all that sort of stuff, which I probably should, because I've carried those little niggles. But I kind of reserve the time. I get in, I get my heart rate up, or I lift some weight, get a bit of a burn on, and then tick the box and get out, sort of thing. So, that's kind of where I'm
at. Write it on the whiteboard. No.
I need to write that on the whiteboard. Knees over toes.
Actually, right on the whiteboard. Cousin, knees over toes. Well, just because I was listening to Chero in three ACLs, brother, and and to come back, he says now he doesn't have any fucking knee pain, brother.
He's got some good programming. The gym I go to, Brett Kairangi's trainer there. He does a lot of Chero stuff himself. So he does a bit of backwards walking on the treadmill. They've got one of those treadmill things. So
bro, that looks funny though. What are you up to, cuz?
No, it's worse because the treadmills are against one of the walls at our gym, right? So they face
Yep.
out the window, so you can like obviously run on the treadmill, look out the window. But when we're on there doing the backwards walk-in, you're looking at the whole gym, so people are just watching you. It doesn't matter.
yeah. Hey, because you got to obviously represent the Kiwis 15 times. What was that like being, like you said, born in Aotearoa, born in New Zealand, Southland, and both parents consider themselves Kiwis as well, considering yourself a Kiwi growing up and growing up watching the games as a kid, getting up early, whether they're in England or the All Blacks. What was that like, by the way? What was that like for your family?
Yeah, it was pretty special, man. Like, obviously, as you said, from my parents, for them supporting the Kiwis, being Kiwis themselves, to see me get that opportunity. And like I said, way back at the start of our chat, like I didn't make rep sides when I was younger. So to get first grade was pretty awesome. And then for rep football to be a part of my first grade journey was again, like just another level that I didn't really expect as a kid. And when I got to do it, it was pretty special. One of my first test matches was in England against England. And at the time, it was 2004. My parents were back here in Sydney, and the club actually, midway through the week when they found out I was going to be playing against England, they organised for my folks to fly over. And
fuck, that's cool, man.
Yeah, man. So they got on a plane on Thursday. We were playing Saturday. I think it was Thursday they were going to plane, and I didn't know about this. They did it as a surprise.
That's even better, Russ. That's even better.
And so they got on a plane. They literally landed in. We're at the time staying in Leeds. They landed in Leeds about 7 or 8 hours before the game, and they had the only way they had to get up to the game, which was in Hull, was by train. So they got in, had a bit of a rest, refreshed, and then got ready and got on a train to head up to Hull to see us play. But man, one of my cousins spilled the beans. She rang me.
True.
And she goes, "Oh, have you seen your parents yet?" And I was like, "Huh?" And she goes, "Oh,
what do you mean? No, like have you seen them on fucking because was Skype even a thing back then? I don't know.
04 might have been Skype, but barely, right? So
OG Skype.
Yeah. Anyway, so I managed. I did a bit of tracking down, and I found out where they were staying, and I rang my mum, and she goes, "Oh, you're not supposed to know we're here." I said, "No, it's cool. I found out, but I just wanted to say hello because I haven't seen them." And then the first time I seen them was they literally got off the train, came to the game, and they were in there like a couple of minutes before kickoff. We lined up for the anthems, and I seen them sitting next to the players' enclosure at the anthems.
Oh fuck! They would have broke you, brother, in a good way. Like,
I get goosebumps now thinking about it, bro. So that was pretty special, man. That was the moment there that got to play for the Kiwis, sung an anthem, seen my parents there, done the haka, and then off we went. Yeah, we got beat up,
but fucking who cares, brother? I got to play there. You know what I mean? Because of that,
it was a great experience, bro. And clearly, I'm telling you now, clearly because it's so clear to me. So, special.
That's a cool story. And shout out to the club for doing that for you, brother.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dave Trotton and Steve Noyce, they were the guys that sorted it out for me, and they're still around now. I still see them, and I'm really appreciative for that.
Salute to the lads, man. That's cool. That's on, brother. No, were you part of the 08 squad?
Yeah, I was in the squad. I didn't play in the final, but I was actually 18th man in the final. Weird experience being 18th man in a big game, bro. So that was it was cool, man.
So you just sitting there on the sideline too? Or
yeah, well, I warmed up, and then once all 17 were clear to go, then I just got back.
It's not the 18 like today, 18.
Yeah, not like today. No. So I sat down with the rest of the boys and watched the game. But man, what a tournament! It was awesome to be a part of. The team was so together. Uncle Wayne Bennett was in there as our assistant coach.
Did he like what was his influence? Like did he have a big influence on it? Like honestly,
yeah, he was. Stephen Kearney was awesome, right? He's a great coach, and
Mooks.
As a national coach, did some awesome things. Mooks, and he just had like a good way with. He's a good man manager, Mooks, and then Wayne was just a good motivator. Like they together work so well alongside each other. He was kind of like a pulse check, I guess, for Mooks, Wayne. Like when he was preparing stuff or delivering stuff, like Wayne just kind of, I guess, guided them through those moments because he was, again, so experienced in that. But he helped develop a lot of our game plans, kept it nice and simple, had a laugh at. I've told people this story before, but I remember one
recycling is good for the planet, cuz. Let's go. No.
I'm pretty sure it was one of our first sessions in NZ, and I can't remember where the session was at, but we're doing some defensive work with Wayne in a session, and he goes to Benji. He goes, Benji, what side of the field do you want to play on? And Benji goes, I'll play either side, I don't mind. And he goes, is that because you missed the same amount of tackles on either shoulder? Man, I don't know if Benji remembers.
That's hilarious, fella.
That's how the story was in my head. And we all started laughing, right? We were like, awkward, but then started laughing. And then, Wayne goes, settle down, boys. I like consistency. He's giving me consistency. That's all good.
Either way, dude.
He's a joker. He's like, he's laid back he loves a laugh with the boys, rides up the back of the bus. He's just like, he wants to be amongst like the sort of lad sort of culture. He likes to be around the boys and hearing the funny stories and talking a lot of shit, and that's just his nature.
Yeah.
And then because he's got that aura about him as Wayne Bennett, it disarms you when he's like that. You're like, oh fuck, this guy's pretty laid back and pretty chill.
When you've never really been been around him that much, and then you're like, oh shit, like he's the one of the goat. A lot of them consider the goat. A lot of people like of the coaching in the NRL, and the bro's cruisy.
Yeah, I think that's why he has so much success with his teams, and to last as long as he has, right, and understand how much people have changed. Like young people have changed a lot, man. Like you and I are a fair way apart in age. The next group that's below you are like everyone's so different. He's been able to understand that and move with it as a coach. It's pretty impressive, man. Like that's
I'm about 20 years younger than you, cuz I don't even only like 9. I think I'm 33 this year, or 32. Yeah, 32 now. But well, how young are you, brother, these days?
I'm 41, bro.
You're the 41. Nah, cool, my man. Cool, man. And obviously, seeing the boys lift the trophy and being a part of, like, did you get a couple of games in? You got a couple of games in. Played the
first test against the Aussies, yeah. Played the first game.
Fellas got a bit of a spank to it. Got a bit of a loss, or a bit of a loss. Bit of a loss, eh?
Yeah, I think it was. No, I think they did it comfortably. It wasn't a blowout, but they sort of cruised against us. But yeah, you know what was the good thing about the final was just like everything that Wayne and Mooks told us would happen happened, and the Aussies shit themselves, and our boys just went to another level. My old mate have mentioned before, Bronson Harrison, man, like he had an awesome tournament. Bronson Harrison wasn't in the squad at the start of the tournament. He played for the Maldives down in Taranaki early on in like a exhibition match. Played unreal. Got called up into the squad because we had a spot spare. I think they held a few spots open. He got called up from that Maldives game into the squad, and then ended up playing like 90% of the games, and was the starting back rower in the final, and like had an awesome game. And it was so like for us as his teammates at Clubland to see him like push in, get a spot, and then take it and win a World Cup in that. No, I think in number 11 he was in. Like was
mean too, Bronson Harrison. Like
skillful guy, man. Like he was all offloads, passes. Like he was, and he was a monster too. Like he was
big,
he was thick man. Yeah,
that's it, my brother. Nah, cool, man. Obviously, the career comes to an end eventually, as you say. Was it the injury? Was the injuries there? Just or like what was the catalyst for just saying, "Hey, it's all over. I had a good run. I'm done."
It was probably just father time. Hey, like I was just slowing up. It was harder to train, harder to play, and I guess having control over when you finish is pretty important. I think, like for anyone that's moving out of sports, out of any sort of career, when you control how it finishes, you feel like it's an easier move to the next thing. Not always, but like that's what I sort of felt like. If I can control when it finishes for me, then I'll be happy. But then I thought about it as well. Like sometimes the control is just really avoiding the tap on shoulder that's going to come anyway. So
getting out there, just jumping in front of it before they get you.
Yeah. No, you can't find me. I quit.
I quit. See you later. I was going anyway.
But no. It was just like I felt like if I had tried to go another year or two, then it would have been a bit of a struggle. I felt good about where I was at. Had some plans in place for post football, and I made the decision in like July of the season, so like midway through the season. So that was more control for me as well. And then just time to focus on something else. It's weird. It's still weird, but like it's a weird thing to go through finishing sport like that.
Yeah,
because the last whistle goes, like we got touched up by Canberra at home at Leichhardt Oval on my last game, and we had a chance to make the finals. If we beat them, we make the finals. We lose, we're out because it was us or them, and they beat us by like 50 points. Standing there at the end of the game, the final hooter goes, and all of a sudden you go, "Oh shit, I won't do this ever again." Like I've just made my last tackle, had my last run, been out on the field for the last hooter. It's stopped. Like that's it. It's done. And that's it kind of hits you hard. You know, you go, fuck, that's a bit scary and a bit like sad. But you just sort of move on to the next thing, I guess.
If you could sum up your career in one phrase or one word, 249 games, I think it is, in 15 tests for the Kiwis. What do you say, brother? What's the one word or maybe one little sentence to sum up your career?
Perseverance. I think I said that before. I mentioned perseverance. Like
throughout, brother.
Like that's like I said. I was never really that talented, but I didn't mind working hard, and I just didn't. I didn't really want to quit at any stage. I just went, no, I'm just going to keep playing. I keep playing, and then you have your bad times, you have injuries. Just keep playing, keep persevering. So that's probably it. Perseverance.
Yeah. So if there's a young buck out there that's like 20-ish, or they're like all 18, about to crack at 19, or whatever, or you about to crack it, would you give them one piece of advice? What would you give them besides perseverance? Is there anything else you could say, like, to hey, how do
I be open to learning always? Like that's the one thing. Like never ever think that you're as good as you're going to get. Like always want to improve. Like bit of a thing that I kind of live by is like you're a lifelong learner. Everything you do, there's always something more to learn. So as soon as you stop thinking that you don't need to learn anything else, and you stop trying to learn something new, then you get stale, you get passed by, you get complacent, all those sorts of things. So keep learning.
Wipe out for life, baby. Let's go. If you could have one superpower, what do you choose and why?
I've probably been asked this like when I was a kid. Probably flying, because you just always have those random dreams where you're flying. Or
even the ones when you're falling. That's the ratchet ones. Have you ever landed, brother? Because I asked this question to everyone. And have you ever landed? Have you ever been in those dreams where you're falling or not?
Oh yeah. Probably during the grand final week celebration.
Yeah, actual. We even sleeping, cuz. No. Solid. Flying. If you could only eat one meal, and it has to be an actual meal, you can't be like, I'll get something from this meal, that meal for the rest of your life. You only get one meal choice. What do you choose?
Oh, this is going to sound boring, but just cereal, bro. I eat cereal at any time of the day. But it doesn't even matter what cereal.
What cereal though? Oh, true, you don't care.
Just cereal. I'll eat cereal every meal for the rest of my life, easy.
Milk too, or are you gonna be like Are you gonna be like Craig on Friday? Put some water on that shit.
No.
Milk. So you're like a flash milk, or just straight out the cow's tit?
Just straight out the cow. Yeah.
That's okay. That's it. Solid, my brother. Solid. So 10 years from now, what does Dene Halatau, 51 years of age, look like? What's life look like?
Man, it's weird. Like I'm in this place at the moment where I'm trying to like progress at work. But
what are you doing? If you can, you don't have to say.
I work at the NRL. I work at the NRL now. So
okay.
I work in the elite footy department. You know Graham Annesley, he pops up every Monday.
The refs boss, is he? That fella?
Well, he's the football department boss. And he looks after the
football department. Okay.
Yeah. So, and he's my boss. So I work in the footy department. I work in player safety. Majority of my time spent in player safety, operational sort of role. Cool. But yeah, like I want to progress, but then I see everyone at those senior roles, and we're talking about the balance before. The balance gets thrown out.
Stressful, eh?
So
Dene Halatau doesn't care about his Job.
Yeah, okay. No reason why I can't follow Ben. Usually do it different. Yeah, I want to move up. I want to be a senior executive in 10 years' time, and have time to do things with my family, but also, make a difference in whatever organization I'm working in.
Yeah, I like that, my brother. Hey, brother, time's the most valuable commodity we have as human beings, Cuzzy. So thank you for sharing your time with me, my man. I appreciate that. And hopefully somebody, whether young or old, because I don't like, for me, it's not just like I'm 32 years old. Like I said to you, I've tried I've thought about this podcast thing for a long time, brother. And I should have pulled the trigger 5 years ago, but we're here now. And I think people that aren't even that are in life stagnant, that have opportunities, or they have something that they've never tried, they just go and give it a crack. So for me, it's like, hopefully they take something from it too.
Yeah, no, that's you're a good example for that, man. And keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, I've seen your socials, man, and you're working hard, man. So good on you, brother.
Oh yeah, hard, because keen, just making up for lost time, my brother. Just making up for lost time. But hopefully, when I come to Sydney, and if you're free and I'm free, we'll catch up for a bit of a cereal, brother. Hey, big love, my brother. Thank you so much for watching this full episode of Mind the Mic. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to create these episodes. So to know that you've watched and listened to the entire thing means the world to myself and all our hosts. If you could, before you leave, please hit the subscribe button and share this episode out to as many people as possible. It would help us so much. Thank you again to everybody that's still here, still watching. Thank you for all your comments, all your shares, all the DMs. Appreciate you all. Make sure you follow us on every platform. Have an awesome morning. Have an awesome night, depending on where you are in the world. Mind the mic out.
Oi, have you hit the link in bio yet?
Watch full episodes on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all streaming platforms.